YouTube, what's up? Back again for another poster design tutorial. I'm going to walk you through all the little tips and tricks I use on this one. It's for my Yellowstone River poster. Let's jump straight in. Okay, so here is the original poster that I've uploaded to my Instagram. I've got this grid layout going on here, a few assets and shapes, and then just the main title and subtitle with the image in a like curved mask here. So first thing I'm going to do is bring in the image here, which I've done. I'm just going to drag that down holding shift to keep it in line. So if you come up to view, guides, and a new guide layout. This is great to use for any poster work. It just helps to keep everything organized. So I'm going to go for 5 columns and then 50 pixel gutter and margin around each side. Right, now I'm going to drag in just a center line, and then what I'm going to do is select the rectangle tool and draw the rectangle shape to mask. Now with these small dots in the corners, you can use these to curve the edges. So what I'm going to do is double click it, drag it in, do the same at the bottom left corner, and there we go. Now we've got the mask shape. If you come over to the layers panel, hold down command and select the image. That is going to outline the shape, and then you can use that as a mask. So I'm now going to hide that, select the image, and press mask down here. So now you can see the trees coming out of the frame. So I'm going to deselect the chain here, which means that the image is no longer pinned to the mask, and then select the image itself, command T, and then you can drag that down and it will remain within the same mask. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller and place it about there. Okay, cool. So now let's move on to the background color. So what I'm going to use is simply just eyedropper tool. So press I on your keyboard. Now I'm going to select a dark green area. That's good. Select my background layer. Press X to swap my foreground and background colors there. And then command backspace. And that's going to set the whole background. Okay, now that I've got the mask completed, I'm just going to rechain that together and then delete the rectangle layer. Okay, so now the main title typeface is smush free. Just up here you can see it. And I'm going to put it around, say, 420 point. Now just use the align tools up here to align it. If these are grayed out for you, come up to these 3 dots and select align and then select canvas. I'm just going to center this. Okay, now for the subtitle text, it is the typeface Ervon Muellerhoff Pro. And now again, with this, for actually just picking colors, it's simple. Just use the eyedropper tool. So come up, select the color, and now I'm going to pick out an orange area of this image to use. Now it doesn't have to be exact. So sometimes I'll get the rough color and then change it around on here to make it work with contrast, but that's good. Let me just drag that over the top. And now a simple trick for when you're using a flat background color. If you come down to effects and stroke, I'm going to select the color as the background color, select the position as outside, and leave that at 10 pixels. There we go. That is the main text done. Okay, now I'm just going to move in this small body text here. So let me just draw a text box out and I'm going to paste that in. So the typeface I'm using for this is Iviora text. You can see at the top there, bold, and then use the same tools again, just align it, center align. Just going to drag it up, holding shift to keep it center aligned, just in place there. Then I'm going to shrink the text box. Okay, now moving on to these asset areas. These are very simple. It's just simple shape building. It's just the same thing reflected. So let's just make one and then we will reflect that. Now, the first one is the squares. So let's select the rectangle tool here, do command and colon to get the margins up. And now I'm just going to draw in these small squares here. Make sure that the stroke is taken off. I'm going to set the fill color for one of them as the orange color we've used for the subtitle, for the river text. And then I'm going to use command J to duplicate that, drag it across holding shift, and then color pick here the Yellowstone text. So we've got the yellow and the orange colors. And now again, command, select both layers. Then I'm going to do command J to duplicate it, turn them around, and then drag them over to the other side. Now this is all very simple stuff. It's just made a lot quicker if you know all the keyboard shortcuts. You're just efficient with making copies. So now I'm just going to get the triangle tool. I'll just make it here so that I know it's in line. And I'm going to select it. Get rid of the stroke again and set it as the yellow color. Simple, just center align it. And now for the last step, let's get the line tool. Let's go from the center of this line, drag it across. And then there we go. Let me just duplicate that again, then drag it across. And now if you want to make sure that they're kind of evenly spaced on their halves, if you select both of them, press command T, and then drag these until they align centered, then you know that they're both evenly spaced. And now simply just take all of these shape layers, shift select, put them into a group, and then command J again to duplicate it, and then flip it around and move it to the top. You can use the grid lines here to help. Now we'll move on to the textures and the image work. Okay, coming back to the original here, you can see all the different textured elements, which is what we're going to be covering next. You can see there's distress all over the edges of the text. This text here is distressed. The shapes and the lines are all kind of grungy and marked and a little bit faint. And I think the texture on this piece really brings it all together. So the first bit I'm going to show you is how I've done this textured edge to the image. Now this is a very simple step. what I'm going to do is come down to the image. I'm going to make sure that the mask is selected and not the image. Otherwise, it will apply it across the whole thing. Come up to filter, stylize, and diffuse. Now, if I zoom in, you can see it creates this nice rough edge around the mask of the image. And this is stackable. So I'm just going to press OK. And I'm going to come up to filter and I'm going to press the same diffuse again. And you see it will add on 2 amounts of that effect. Okay, so now that we've got the image sorted, I'm just going to hide this. I'm going to use Command, Option, Shift, and E. What that's going to do is going to duplicate all the layers that are currently visible and put them into one layer. So we can just apply the effects to one layer. So now let me convert this to a smart object. And now come up to Filter, Distort, and Displace. Now I'm going to put the scale at, let's say 15, and then I'm going to use this film dust texture here. Okay, now this is done. You can see as I zoom in, it creates these really nice kind of inconsistencies across all of the text, which is nice. It's still quite subtle, which is good. And you can see here, really nice effect on the smaller assets. I'm going to keep it as that. You can, if you want to change it, if you want to up it or decrease it, just double click, change the scales here. So you could go up to 20, go down to 10, do whatever you want. But I'm going to keep it here. And then what I can do is drag the image layer back up above this and reveal it again. And now you can see the actual textured effects are done. We're just going to add in a texture layer over the top. Right, so I'm just dragging in a paper texture here that I've got. I'm just going to hold Option whilst I increase it to keep it centered, and then put this opacity down to, let's say 30%. And there we go, that is the piece done. You can see all of this, you know, if I zoom in and see all the details here, it's a really nice effect with just a few really easy steps. I use this in a lot of my work. It's basically a staple for me. And yeah, there we go. Well, if you made it this far, you're a legend. Thank you so much. I'm glad I can be useful to you, and I'd love to know what you want me to make next. So if there's any posters I've made that you want to see a video on, drop a comment here, drop a comment on Instagram. Let me know. I can make it in future videos. For now, subscribe. I'll see you soon.